You may have noticed when we're working with the housekeeping fields and we exited Manage Database that my screen, my database didn't have any fields on the layout. So let's exit Manage Database and look at that. You may have all your fields listed up here in the header section, but I have none. So why is that? Well, it has to do with how the preferences are set up. So if you're on the Macintosh, you go to the FileMaker menu and choose Preferences. If you're on Windows, go to Edit and you'll see Preferences at the bottom of this menu. So we'll enter Preferences, and there's a lot of options in here. Allow drag and drop text selection. Do you want to show the recently opened files under the File menu? There's a lot of options here. You can check them out. We're not going to go over every single one, but there are kind of nice to set this up so your FileMaker Pro application works the way you want it to. You customize it to your own specific needs. But I'm going to tell you about one particular feature, and we'll come back in here and change other features as the tutorial goes on, but we're just not going to cover everything. But the one thing I think is important right now is under this Layout tab, you probably have Add Newly Defined Fields to Current Layout checked right now. This is great for beginners, but I'm going to recommend you uncheck this. The reason is because let's say you're adding fields to Manage Database, and what's going to happen is those fields that you just added to Manage Database are going to go on the layout you're on before you went into Manage Database. What if they don't want to be on that layout? What if you want them on another layout? Well, you have to delete them off that layout and then move them to another layout. And we're going to learn more about layouts, but they're basically views of your records, different ways of looking at your records. So another example would be, what if you have this beautiful interface with graphics and fields just so, and Manage Database adds these fields to your layout and messes up your whole screen? Well, you have to fix it and then do whatever you want with those fields. So really, as you get to an intermediate level, which we'll quickly get you to in these tutorials, this becomes very annoying. And so I always uncheck it. So I'd recommend unchecking it and then clicking OK. And now, some people may have had that already unchecked or may have had it checked. Whatever it is, we're going to show you how to work with layout mode real briefly. We're going to cover it a lot more extensively later, but I want to give you some insights in how you manipulate your layouts to work with your records so you can display information. And the first thing we want to do is switch from your table view right here. This is new in FileMaker 11. It brings up a table view because you can do all kinds of things in here as far as what you'd normally do in Manage Database. We'll cover that later as well. But we're going to go back to the way FileMaker 10 did it, which is it brings you to a form view. And this is a more traditional view. The table view is more like an Excel spreadsheet. When you're designing professional databases, you usually use this form view here. And you notice it looks completely blank. That's because there's no fields in the layout. So we're going to edit layout. And you'll see that we have a lot of things on here. Just disregard them. What we're interested in is putting your fields inside this body part right here. So the body part goes from right here to there. We'll cover how these parts work and all that, but you need to know the basics and how to add a field. And it's real simple. Out of all these tools, you just come over here to this one right here. If you hover it over it to remind yourself, it says Field Tool. You click and hold down, and then you drag. And when you let go, it asks you what field you want on there. Well, I'll put on the company field. It's that easy. Go and drag another field out here. Try to line it up. Choose Name First. And keep dragging. It's real easy. They have a thing called Object Grids, which we'll cover later, which allows you to line these things up real easily. And just keep dragging until you have all your fields on there. And we'll keep going down this list. Go to City. Now I'm doing them in a vertical situation. You might not design it this way professionally, but we're going to get to that. So you got to kind of be patient and learn as we go. We got to get the basics down and then show how to do a really nice looking layout. So we'll keep dragging these. We got postal code. We'll go to phone. Then we'll get down here and go to email. And now we're running out of room here, so all you have to do to make more room is drag the body part down. It's that simple. Just click and hold down on it. Then we'll drag another field there. And we're going to do the date of birth. Now the only other fields left are your housekeeping fields. Again, these don't have to be on the layout. You don't have to let the users or anybody see this data. They can just be there. They can be on a special hidden developer layout, which we'll find out more about. So I'm not going to actually add it to the layout. We'll just stick with these. And then when you exit the layout, you'll see that you have these labels, but you have 0 records here, so you actually have to hit New. So we'll go to the records menu and choose new record, or in the status toolbar you hit this little button right here, new record. And you can see now we have one record in here. And we can start typing in here. And we'll type in there, and you can see that there's not enough room in there. We'll take care of that when we cover layouts later, how to make these fields bigger. Come down to the next one and type in here. So you can see all this data is in here and we can work with it. Now you may want to see what's inside those housekeeping fields, because right now they actually have gone to work for you. So let's go back into layout mode, drag another field on there, and we'll drag on the timestamp create, and then we'll put on the mod and the count create, and then count modify. Then we'll exit layout, and you'll see that it has information in there. Now again, these fields aren't big enough, but we're just doing the basics of how to work with layout mode. You'll see that it has the date in here with the time, when it was created and when it was modified, and then it has the count creation, which will cover security later, and the count modification, which are the same here. So these are the basics of how to get your fields on the layout. What we're going to do is go back into Manage Database, because we still have more to discuss about that. This is just a little tangent that we went on so you can make sure that if you didn't have your fields on the layout, you have them now so you can see how it works.